what's up guys? It's part 6 of our Fokker D7 build. It's the final chapter. Alright, I'll jump right into this. When I was part 5, I was finishing up on installing the tail, the rudder. So you got there. You guys, of course, would go ahead and hook up your control horns. Alright, now what you want to do is go ahead and take a X-Acto knife and go ahead and cut down through the bottom of the foam where your landing gear is going to be installed. So that's where our landing gear is going to push up through the bottom here. So let's go ahead and mark that right now. Now for your battery tray, I went ahead and cut out a piece of balsa wood. When you install your battery tray, you always want to make sure your battery's centered in the middle of the fuselage and also centered between the two wings. So you'll have the upper and lower wing right here, and I like to center the battery right in the center of the fuselage here. And that way when you do a barrel roll, it'll be a perfect barrel roll. You always want your battery centered in the middle of your wings and also centered in the middle of the plane. It's very important. Now I would go ahead and glue that in there, but this is just a build video, so I'm just going to leave it out for now. And it was designed for, you can use a 2200 milliamp, or you can use up to a 2650 3-cell. If you use a 2200, you're going to want it to sit further up toward the nose of the plane. Now if I was going to use a 2650, I would cut my balsa wood a little further back. That way I got more room to move my battery back. But since I'm using a 2200, I just butt mine right up to the firewall here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the top wing on here. What I did here is I already got my wing struts cut out, all 4 of them. I'll take on my bottom wing, just measure out 6 inches. Just find half the wing length, which is actually 12 inches, and I'll measure 6. Go ahead and do that on both sides. Just butt up against the fuselage, measure 6 inches out. Now I'll go ahead and take a speed square. Just mark here. Of course, that's where your wing struts are going to go on. And the wing struts just ride up over the first lip on the airfoil there. So the corner of the wing strut comes up to your second line. I just drew these lines on here so you could tell where the airfoil shape was. There's our 3 score lines. Like I said, it rides right up to the second score line. You can see it's even formed to the shape of the wing. So I'll go ahead and install these on there. Make sure they're standing up nice and straight. Again, it just rides up over the first airfoil line, butt it right up to your second one here. Make sure they're standing nice and straight. And then same thing with the ones on the inside. These are going to butt right up against the fuselage and right up to your second mark again. So I'll go ahead and hit the side with the fuselage is going to rest up against. Go ahead and center it on your line and then push it up against your fuselage there. Same thing on this side. Set it, push up against the fuselage. So there we got our wing struts installed. Very simple. I went ahead and marked on my battery cover front and back so I know which way this goes on. Just wanted to do a test fit, make sure everything works good. Awesome. Alright, now on the plans I had for the top wing, this sits on your wing struts. You're going to want to measure 4 inches from the nose to where the front of this wing is going to sit, leading edge of the wing. So I'll go ahead and measure 4 inches back, again from the front of the nose of the plane. I just measure 4 inches back and place a mark. Now I know that's where the leading edge of the wing is going to sit. Just right over that mark. And when I apply this, guys, I'll just apply it on there by eyeball here. Just eyeball it up when I set it on here. And just make sure the center of the wing is centered over the main fuselage. I'm going to just do a dry run here. Like I said, you can look down on it, make sure it's nice and straight with the bottom wing. Just like that. It's perfect. So I want to go ahead and apply hot glue to the top of all 4 wing struts, and then just place this on here just like how I had it. Just center it over the fuselage, line it up with the bottom wing real nice. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, I just line it up my 4-inch mark, and then just make sure it's centered with the bottom wing. I don't do no measuring or nothing, guys. I just eyeball this stuff up. It's just a foam board plane. Go ahead and apply a little pressure. Let that glue set up. As you can see, you can even line it up by the front. You see it's nice and even. And again, the leading edge of the wing is 4 inches back from the nose of the plane. And there we got our main airframe built. I went ahead off camera. Like, you can do a bunch of these little accessories you want to add on. Like, here's a little motor that I made. And the dimensions for this are 3 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. As you can see there. And then I went ahead and scored a line down the center. Cut that piece out, score a line down the center, and fold it in on itself. And then the little motor heads here are 3/8 by 3/4 of an inch length. 3/8 inch wide by 3/4 of an inch long. So just go ahead and you can make your own little motor box. I mean, you can add on all kinds of different things to these planes to give them that scale appearance. I'll go ahead and glue this on there. There's our little motor box. And I didn't put that on the plans. I mean, you guys can just go ahead and make your own little motor box. Like I said, it's 3 inches long by 1.5 inches wide, and the center line is right at 3/4. And then the little motor heads 3/8 inch wide by 3/4 inch length. That's just a little motor box. And for the little wing struts I got here, those are just 7-Eleven coffee stir straws I pick up. Get them at my local 7-Eleven. You can always just poke those in through the foam board wherever you want them. I mean, you can install these things wherever you want, guys. You can install them at an angle. But I went ahead and gave it that scale appearance. That's how the ones look on the original Fokker D7. There are just other little things you can add on. Alright guys, that'll wrap it up for that. Now I want to move on to the landing gear. Oh, I also cut out the nose for the motor. Now of course, when you guys installed the motor mount piece of balsa wood, you would have already had your motor installed on it. And then I went ahead with the plans. And I cut out for the motor. Cut this off here. As you can see, I cut out for the motor already. The only reason why I didn't do it in the build videos is because you guys might be using a different size motor. So I mean, whatever size motor you're going to put in there is what size hole you're going to cut off. And you can determine where you're going to put your motor mount by how the length of your motor. I mean, on mine, I put my motor nice and flush up against the nose. Alright, now let's work on this landing gear. I already got all my pieces here. Now for the landing gear, this is just off the Hobby Zone Super Cub. This is the landing gear. I use all the parts from the Hobby Zone Super Cub on this plane. Even the tail wheel, to the control rods, the landing gear assembly. The only thing I do is I do away with the wheels that come with it. and I picked up some 3-inch Dubro. You can just get these from Dubro.com. This 3-inch. Now to make the bottom wing, you can see the landing gear doesn't come with a rod going across here, which I needed to attach a wing. Like I got here. So what I picked up was some carbon fiber rod, and this stuff is 3/16 wide by 1/16 thick, and I think it came in like a 16-inch long piece, but again it's 3/16 wide by 1/16 thick. I went and cut a piece to fit in between the landing gear here, and I went ahead and drilled out 2 holes on each, just a hole on each end, and that's a 3/32 drill bit, just to get some zip ties through there. That way we can install this right onto our landing gear. And I had to do this so I could attach the wing onto this piece. I use this landing gear on all my builds. I really like the Hobby Zone Super Cub landing gear and all the parts that come with it. Alright, we can go ahead and cut these zip ties back. So as you can see, I just zip tied around both ends. Here's our landing gear wing that we had cut out earlier. We scored it. I just went ahead and put a V-notch on it to open it up a little, because that is going to slide right in there like so. So I'll go ahead and put a little hot glue down the center of here. And pull it right down onto it. Let's go ahead and let that glue set up for a second. There's how you get landing gear with your wing on there. Fairly simple. And of course your tires will slide on here. And then the wheel locks. They actually call them wheel collars. Got these from my local hobby store. They're just 1/8 wheel collars, 1/8 inch wheel collars. And I always like to put one on the inside, then the wheel, then another lock collar on the outside. Alright, so now where we cut the slit through our piece of balsa wood on the inside of the plane, that's where we're going to push our landing gear bar down through there. And just slowly work it into that crack that I cut. And then just push it right on into the balsa wood. There's our landing gear with our wing. I also, once I build that little wing setup, I'll go from the inside in here and hit this with hot glue. Go ahead and hit the bar and the piece of balsa wood and hot glue. Just put hot glue all around that there, because you don't want this moving or coming out. So go ahead and hit all that with hot glue down in there, guys. I don't like to put no hot glue on this side. I like to make it a nice clean finish. Like I said, then you know your wheels would slide on here with your lock collars. Just like so. Alright. There she is, all finished up. Just the main airframe. You can also see the bottom of the wings where I went ahead and finished off the ends with just print paper. Turns out nice. There's my dental floss running through where my servo is. Now I would have already pulled my servo wires through, connected them on the inside. And then on the plans, guys, the CG for this plane, it's on the plans. It's actually an inch. It's 1 7/8 inches back from the leading edge of the wing. So put your CG about right there. 1 7/8 inches from the leading edge of the top wing, you guys. That's your CG. So when you put your battery in there, it should center out right at that line. Alright, this plane here, I'm just going to use it. I'll end up painting it and hanging it in the corner somewhere. And that way if I ever need a spare fuselage, if I ever crash mine, I can just throw all the electronics into this one. The snow skis I used on this here are the Dubro, just park flyer size snow skis. Then you can put whatever little pilot you want in yours. As you can see, it's a nice design plane and it flies beautifully, you guys. Alright, I still got to get a flight video in on my stealth drone here, my Tin Man. I never did a flight video. We ended up getting bad weather, but I've already flown it. Flies beautiful. I love this jet. And there's my bat wing in the back. My SE-5A World War I biplane right there I've been building. Thing's sweet. And of course my J3 Cub. Alright, I'll get you guys some more builds going. Over and out.